Of all the wheels I've ever used, this has been the most expensive, but the most impressive so far, by far. It's the Grid by SimLab Porsche 911 RSR wheel, a replica of what's found within the legendary real-life 2019 car. It's €2,300, way above my natural price bracket, but my god, is it simply sublime. The official Porsche licensing and badging, the exquisite aluminium rotaries, the crisp and sharp screen, the bright and plucky LEDs, the superb grips and paddles, the way it breathes into life when switched on, everything about this scratches every cell in my brain that shares any passion for GT racing and any passion for Porsche. When you pay top-end premium prices, you expect a luxury experience that makes you feel like nothing else you've had before. For it to succeed, it has to speak to your inner child to be truly worth the cost and reward you for the path you took. Allow me to show you around this unbelievably cool thing and describe my time with it. Before we get to it, please be aware that Grid by SimLab has provided this wheel for review. I've not had to pay for it, and this video is created on that basis. Otherwise, I'd never be able to make it because I'd never own one. That's why I mark videos of this nature as paid promotion. However, it is still a review, not an ad. Good and bad points are covered as I see them. All words are my own. Watch the whole thing through, but if you do proceed to buy, using the SimLab affiliate link in the video description below helps me out a great deal, and you can get 5% off everything there with code DannyLee5, knocking well over €100 off the price tag for this wheel alone. Questions and comments are also welcome, feel free. Your first impression is going to be of the box, and immediately you just know that you have something special. And that'll come as a relief after seeing the equivalent of over €2,000 fly out of your account. The Porsche licensing is displayed proudly as a seal of approval, and as the lid slides off, you'll be greeted with some stickers and a sheet of paper with a QR code to the manual. It's a detailed manual that even includes the software numbering of the LEDs to help you plot your custom lighting effects. But at this price, a printed manual would have been nice, especially if it's printed on that glossy paper that has that amazing smell. You know the sort. The wheel itself is hidden under a foam lid, and laying eyes upon it for the first time was just so good. Handling the wheel, you can take a minute to admire the things that elevate this to premium tier. Protective wrap covers the grips and the screen to guarantee no damage or scuffs before you've had your hands on it. I spent most of my first few minutes twiddling the aluminium rotaries, admiring the Porsche logo, clicking all the buttons, shifters and paddles like a kid at Christmas. It feels hefty in hand, but the weight is concentrated in the centre, so it still feels nimble. The primary shifters and dual clutch paddles are adjustable in terms of reach. I felt it necessary to extend the main shifter paddles out a bit, and glad I had the option. The 4 rotary dials on the front face are velvety smooth, really luxurious feeling. The last time a dial felt this good was when I called up for pizza delivery. It all just feels so classy and as mature as an officially licensed premium product should. Curiously, the wheel is manufactured in China, but crucially, the warranty is 3 years. That's important given the price. I've used SimLab's support system previously with the XP1 pedals. They were swift and attentive, so I would expect them to maintain that for something of this magnitude too. As this is a premium third-party wheel that's going to have to play nicely with multiple brands of wheelbases, mounting and connection are important things to cover. The wheel's mounting flange accommodates both threaded and non-threaded interfaces, so you should find yourself free of any issues when it comes to attaching your chosen platform's quick release. You ought not need any spacers or reducers or anything like that. When it comes to data transmission, how this wheel will talk to your PC, you have 2 options. You can opt for the standard coiled cable with the supply power injector, which I thoroughly recommend because it's so reassuring, and pressing a little button on the injector to power it on feels so swish. Or you can opt for the internal pass-through cable to bypass the external wire. I would strongly advise against starting with this, and I'll explain why. This is what you'd use if your wheelbase or platform has a means or method of transferring the data and power via USB internally via its quick release. And there are a few manufacturers now that offer exactly this, such as the VRS system that I'm using here. If compatible, the result is that you can run the wheel effectively free of external cables, avoiding the added clutter in the cockpit. However, if you do run it through the pass-through cable, then you need to be aware of this segment of the manual. The wheel's designed to run with the 12-volt coiled cable system, which carries more power, but it can run through the lower-powered 5-volt pass-through cable, with the caveat that you might need to reduce the brightness of the onboard LEDs if you experience any losses of connection or signal issues. The stability of a wheel in this manner can depend greatly on the platform powering it, and unfortunately, my own experience of using the pass-through cable with my VRS DFP15 was not good. Not at all reliable, even with the LEDs set to just 10% brightness. It just wasn't playing ball, not reliable, and the connection dropouts were seemingly random. The problem here is that some combinations will work fine, some won't, and the blame can't really be laid at either door. It may work fine for you with whatever you're going to use, but it didn't for me. I can't speak for anyone else. Ultimately, the method that guarantees the wheel will work as intended, no matter what platform you're on or what brightness settings you run, will be the original coiled cable. It removes all doubt from the equation and gives peace of mind. If you've never run a coiled cable wheel before, yes, it's nice to not have cables, but it's no deal breaker by any means. I barely notice it's there, and the sense of reliability is worth it. And it's for this reason that I strongly advise that you start with the coiled cable so you experience it as intended. Then, if you absolutely must, explore the pass-through and see if it works for you. It's an option, just not a given. Once you've got it hooked up and powered, the next thing you'll encounter is SimLab's software companion called Race Director. This is what talks to the wheel and activates the screen and buttons with active telemetry and such sorts. You do have the option of cutting it out completely and using SimHub instead for open customization. This wheel is compatible with it. I'll be honest, Race Director is one of the weaker software companions I've come across. It feels a little bit crunchy, janky, cumbersome and unstable. It just doesn't inspire tremendous confidence as you navigate through it. Software quality can really impact how you feel about your new toy during setup. Acertech software, for example, is the best I've encountered, and it makes you feel safe and satisfied. SimLab software makes you second guess yourself just a tiny bit. You can set your clutch bite points here, but I found the settings didn't stick if I did it via the software. They reset every time the PC was turned off. But they did stay stuck if I made the adjustments using the wheel's own inbuilt method, which is done through a button combination. Stuff like this is a weakness, especially at this price tag. Race Director does the job, but it feels like a 30-year-old thermostat, which works fine, but acts like it could break at any moment if you twiddle it. I hope it gets an overhaul at some point, but don't let it put you off. It won't come up in conversation very often, and it's not your only option for driving the wheel's onboard electronics. If you opt to use SimHub instead of Race Director, then you'll get free range of the many community-made dashboards and even a standard LED profile ready to go. In this regard, it behaves much the same as any other SimHub-capable wheel, and by that I mean wonderfully. With 4 separate LEDs per button, there's lots of scope for customization, so if you're willing to sit and tinker with SimHub, you'll have yourself a good time. Taking a moment to admire it on the rig, you don't have to know anything about this to just know it's high-end. You only have to see it. The hardware elements, the way it's designed and the way it's built are where this wheel truly shines, that's for sure. So now to driving, the good bit. Heading out of the pits for the first time with this was exciting for me. It always is when you have a wheel stacked to the nines with every premium element imaginable, but this more so. This is another level to me before I've even turned the first corner. At 300mm, it's truly perfectly sized for circuit race cars, and I just feel naturally at one with it. It's so comfortable, but so direct. The grips are wonderful, high grip and comfortable. The shifters are clear and exact. The buttons are plush. The handling overall is just exquisite. Nothing feels wrong. Very rarely does a wheel feel like it's got everything right all at once in one product, but here we are. The screen is lovely and clear, and I'm loving how bright and stark the LEDs are on the rev strip and the buttons too, as the personality of the wheel shines through. With this in my hands, I feel mentally transported inside the seat of something quite special, regardless of what I'm racing. I've tested wheels with all of these individual elements before to varying degrees, but it's how well it's all stitched together under an official Porsche license that really makes it top tier for me. This may be a Porsche 911 RSR wheel, and you can drive the very car it's modelled from in Le Mans Ultimate, to name just one place. But to me, this wheel has become a visual proxy for all GT and prototype steering wheels. It shares many similarities with so many of them, even if it's not the exact same. It's my umbrella wheel to cover them all. One concern that you might raise with yourself once you notice it is the lack of funky switches. They may be something you've come to rely on, many do, including me. In iRacing, I've instead taken to using the rotary dials as my surrogate menu navigation wheels, and it works fine. It's just a different method of achieving the same result, but does the trick all the same. These rotaries can be scrolled and pressed like a button, which gives you that extra flexibility to be able to do this. It may feel slightly like using an Etch-a-Sketch, but I'm more than making do with it. In the intro, I alluded to the fact that this wheel is just so expensive that it simply won't sell without the ability to invoke an emotional response within you. And you need to have already granted Porsche and their race cars hero status in your mind in order for it to do that, because it plucks firmly upon the strings of that fixation. If you don't care about Porsche, you're unlikely to appreciate fully, but I certainly do, and I'm feeling every bit of satisfaction I can from it. No hate, but it just wouldn't be as big a deal to me if it was a BMW, Bentley or Audi wheel, just to name a few. It looks so real and just feels so professional that I can't deny its allure. It's such a lovely thing, and a lot of that is down to the fundamentals being absolutely perfect. It's just as beautiful to use as it is to see. This is a dream to drive from the first lap, and my clear favourite of all I've used so far. If you're genuinely vying for this wheel and you just wanted to know if it's going to live up to expectations, it will. The big question here that every reviewer should ask is, would I buy one with my own money? No, it's just too far above my price range, it's out of my budget, and my strict pursuit of being reasonable with money would rule it out. Any wheel costing over £1,000 equivalent cannot seriously be considered as being reasonable, but I would wish I could. It's the nicest and most inspiringly cool wheel I've used so far, and I have fallen for it hard. I simply don't want to use anything else, and it brings me a slice of joy every time I switch it on. It's basically ruined every other steering wheel for me. It's like a final unlockable character, all strengths, no weaknesses except the price. Like the black car from Ridge Racer or the Piranha from Wipeout 2097. It's just unfairly excellent and exotic. It's not going to be a realistic option for many, but if for you it is, then you can count yourself lucky. So there we go. I hope that was entertaining and informative. Feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments, and of course, if you've already made up your mind, using the SimLab affiliate link in the description supports me and my channel greatly. Don't forget about that discount code as well. Thank you for doing so, and cheers again.